What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello. This is our very first video episode. Okay. I know if you've been rocking with me on YouTube, you've been a subscriber, you know that we've been doing these sit down chit chat videos, every now and then. But your girl hasn't been consistent, to be honest. So, what I have been consistent with, though, is my podcast. So I figured, why not just combine them, right? Do a sit down chit chat video, combine it with the audio podcast. So that way we're all happy here, right? Our listeners on Spotify and Apple are happy. Our YouTubers are happy. So hello, welcome. Okay. I'm Marissa. I'm the host of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. And today we're going to talk all about letting go, stepping into the best version of yourself, how to prepare for the new year, right? Like, we're officially in the month of November, okay? And that means we have 2 months left of the year, okay? 2 months left. And a lot of the questions I've been asking myself during this time are, number one, where do you want to be around this time next year, right? Because we have a whole year. Whether or not you think about the new year starting on January 1st, or whether or not you think about the new year starting maybe on your birthday, right? So for me, I talked about this in the last episode. I consider my birthday to really be a time of beginning, right? A new beginning, a new year, a time of rebirth, a time of transformation. And it's Scorpio season. Okay. Shout out to the Scorpios. And right now, it's a really good time to start getting serious about what you want. Okay. Here's what happens every single year. We go through these cycles, okay? And I'm going to talk about the cycles. And I feel like I have pretty good insight on this because I've been in an industry and around a community of women where I see constant changes in action and talk, in moods, in consistency, all that thing, right? All of those things. And also, me myself, okay, I've definitely been through seasons where I said I was going to commit to something. I said I was going to change something. I said I was going to let go of something, right? January 1st, the time comes. And then, boom, all of a sudden, I lost complete direction, right? I lost complete direction. I lost sight of my goals. Next thing you know, it's October and I have no idea what happened to my goals. Like, what happened, right? So what happens is we get super excited, we get overly excited sometimes when the new year rolls around, January 1st. We take the time, December 31st or January 1st to write down all these goals, okay? And I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely been guilty of overcommitting, right? Like, writing down so many goals and not saying that they're unrealistic. We talked a little bit about that in the previous episode, talking about getting unstuck and how we can't really see it, our dreams or our goals as unrealistic. We just have to believe in them, but we also have to be smart. So today we're going to be talking about more of how we can attack our goals, like things that we really need to do to get closer to our goals and to step into the best version of ourselves. So what happens is we overcommit, right? We take on all of these things that we want to do, we write them down, right? And then we don't really have an action plan. We're just like, okay, I really want to lose 30 pounds. Okay. And maybe, you take the steps for a couple weeks, you go to the gym maybe 3, 4 times a week. You do that consistently for a month. Okay. And then what happens is, because you weren't already doing those things in the previous year, right? You weren't doing it in September. You weren't doing it in October. You weren't doing it in November. So when the new year comes, now it's like you feel all this pressure, right? You're trying to adapt all these new habits and you're trying to change your life and make all these big drastic changes, but you haven't been taking the small actions to get there, okay? So one of the things that we can do to set ourselves up is really focus on the small habits, the everyday tasks, the things that we're doing on the daily basis, the things that go into our routines, right? Our daily routines. How are we showing up for ourselves? How are we committing to the goals that we set just for that day, right? Like if you can't even check off your goal list for that day, what makes you think that you're gonna attack all these big goals within a month span, you know? So just being realistic, like, okay, well, maybe I won't start with 4 times during the week for the gym, right? Maybe I'll start with two. And then depending on two, how I feel with that, right? I start seeing progress, I start seeing changes, I start feeling the changes. Maybe from there, then I'll pick up more days to go to the gym, right? So be realistic with your goals. Like don't overcommit. What can you really stick with? What can you truly stick with? And then also we have to come back to like our why. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this just because you think it's a goal that you should have? Are you doing this because you see everybody else doing it on social media? Are you doing it because other people want you to do it? You know, like why do you want these changes to happen? And we also have to think about like who are you really being called to become, right? Like in this stage of my life, I feel like I'm truly stepping into the person. I feel like I say this every single episode, but truly, okay? And this podcast really helps me to do more of that, to really step into the person that I'm trying to become. So once you figure that out, right? Once you write it down, and you can almost write down like this character. Think about like if you were a script writer and you were writing like a TV show or a movie and you had to create this character. What would this character look like? What would this, and I'm not just talking about physical, what would this character be doing? What are the habits of this character? What does this character talk about? What energy does this character present? How does this person make other people feel, right? So, really getting clear and specific about the person that you're trying to become, that's really going to help you to be able to step into that. If you have no idea or no clear direction of who or where you're going in life, it's going to be very hard to get there. And not saying that you're not going to get there, right? Maybe with the right people around you, maybe with the right opportunities, you're going to get there. And who knows when? Okay. I always talk about like when we're manifesting, when we're calling different and new things into our life, we don't always know when. Like, we don't always know when it's going to happen. So, we really have to focus on what are the characteristics, what are the steps, what are the habits, what are the words, right? How does this person talk to themselves? How does this person talk to other people? How does this person show up for themselves? How does this person show up for other people? How does this person work? What's their work ethic like? You know, what are the commitments? Does this person stick to their word? Does this person have integrity? So just really writing down like your values, right? Your desires, the things that are the most important to you in life. That's going to help you really get clear about what you want. Two books that I would recommend, and I definitely plan on having a separate episode talking about some of the books that have helped me in the past year. I really like committed to reading more in the past year. Like last year, I was like, okay, I'm going to read, I'm going to start with so and so book. And then this year, I really got serious about making a list, sticking to that list, trying to read, you know, at least one book a month. Has it happened? You know, I would say I had 12 books planned for the year and I'm on book 6. So not bad, you know, not bad. But some of the books, okay, going back to, you know, I'm getting sidetracked here, but one of the books that really helped me, number one, was Your Best Year Yet by Jenny, I want to say Jenny Glitzer. I have the book at home. So when I do the actual podcast about the books and we'll talk more in depth about them, I will definitely show you the book. But Your Best Year Yet by Jenny Glitzer, and then definitely Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is a very popular book. A lot of people have read the book or they recommend the book. He also has a course on Masterclass. So if you guys are on the Masterclass app, he also has a course on there, which is basically a short, you know, summary of like his book. So if you're not someone that likes to sit down and read words and your attention span, you know, ain't that good, you could go and watch the Masterclass. I want to say it's about, there's maybe like 5 modules, but they're not that long. He breaks everything down. It's great. And yeah, like that's, those two books definitely have helped me, right? Just becoming more organized, more clear, more understanding of like what it is that I really need to do to get to the next level, to take the next steps towards the life that I truly want. Another way that we can really set ourselves up, not just in the new year once the new year starts, but during the year, right? Once you sit down and you write down what your goals are for the year, I would say like no more than 10, like 10 good goals. And you can maybe even separate them. What I've done in the past, specifically this year, I wrote down my goals separated from short term, long term. I think I just did short term, long term. Yeah. So short term was like within the, I want to say like first 3 4 months of the year, and then my long term were just things that I wanted to complete by the end of the year. So you can take this route, right? You can write down your goals all at once. You could break them up, into small measurable goals. As that's what James Clear talks about in his book as well. Just really being able to like break them down and set, specific goals for yourself in a short amount of time. So you can do that, right? But once you do that, you also need to come back and check in with your goals throughout the year. You can't just set it and forget it, sis, okay? We're not just writing things down and then, throwing it in the ocean, hoping that it comes true one day. No, okay? We got to take the action, okay? The action is really where it's at. So, writing down your goals, understanding what you need to do, and then checking back. Okay. Maybe if you have your short term goal list, come back maybe in March, right? See what you've accomplished off of that short term goal list in March. Then coming back, maybe checking in another 2 months. What's the next goal? Okay, I crossed this off. Cool. That's also going to give you a sense of accomplishment, right? Coming back, seeing that you are actually accomplishing things, that you're not just writing them down and throwing them out into the universe, and not saying also that, like, yeah, we also have to take the steps to pray, to ask God, to have faith, but you also have to do the work, sis. Okay. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. We're not just wishing and hoping. Like, wishing and hoping is not going to get you anywhere. Wishing and hoping is going to get you disappointed. Okay. You could sit here and you could wish and hope and, oh, I really hope, I really wish, I really just, I would love, for all this to happen. I would love to get $1 million. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing for the $1 million, sis? How you gonna get that milli, sis? You got to do the work, okay? So going back, checking with your goals throughout the year, and that way too, it's also always on your radar, okay? It's always on your radar. You can always come back and see it. There's really something in there's a power in writing things down. Writing it down, right? Because number one, you're literally expending that energy to write, right? So you're moving your hand, right? You're writing it down. It's coming directly from your mind. You're putting it on paper, right? You have it written. It's there. It's there for a while, right? Unless the paper gets wet or something. But it's going to be there. It's going to be there for a minute. So you can come back and check in. That way you can't be like, oh, I forgot. I forgot. Oh, I was supposed to do that? Write it down. Okay. I started using Notion for my daily tasks and I really, really like it. This is not a sponsored ad. I actually really wish that it was, but Notion, I'm with it. Okay. I put some of my clients on, my clients that I do confidence coaching with. It's a good way to just keep yourself organized, to come back to see your goals. I also have my reading list on there. So the good thing about Notion is like they have all these pre-made templates that you can just go in. So I do like the weekly agenda. So every single day I have like tasks that I can check off based on what I need to do. You could drag and drop. So say that I didn't get something done yesterday, I could just drag it to today. So Notion's a good way. You can also find, whatever apps work for you. But another way that we can keep sight of our goals is by keeping a vision board. And a lot of people already do this. A lot of people talk about this. And this is something as simple as, you don't have to sit there and cut out magazines and glue and copy and paste and all that stuff. You can literally just go on your computer, if you have Canva or if you have any other type of app where you can kind of like just save pictures maybe from Google and then put them on the dock and then maybe set it as like a desktop picture. That's what I've done with my vision boards in the past. That way you can see it every day. You could also do like a poster board if you want to get more hands-on creative. You could definitely do like a poster board and put it somewhere in your house that where you're going to see it every single day. That's going to keep you motivated. And the thing with vision boards is like, it's okay if your vision changes, right? You might decide that you want something or you want to see something or you want to accomplish something in January, and then maybe you decide in June that that's not really for you, or you want to go a different direction. It's okay to change your vision. Okay, it's your vision for a reason. It doesn't have to be set in stone. We're constantly changing, evolving, and thinking and creating new experiences in our life. So it's okay to change your mind. Okay, as long as you're sticking with something. We don't want to be flip-floppy where we're always switching our mind, and I want this, no, I want this, and I want that. You ain't never gonna get nothing, sis. Okay. If you keep changing your mind, you're not gonna get anything. Okay. So be clear about what you want. Let's talk about people and influences a little bit. So, another way that you can keep yourself on track throughout the year is by following people on social media who influence you, who motivate you, who inspire you, people who are doing similar things that you're doing. I definitely have a select few people. I would say probably like 3 or 4 people that I follow that I consistently see what they're doing. And it really pushes me, it motivates me, and it helps me to see that these things are possible, right? If you listen to the last episode, we were talking about, negativity and people who might put your dreams down or don't believe in what you believe in. And that's because they don't see other people doing it, right? They don't think that it's realistic. So if you are in this place right now where you're not really seeing anybody doing what you're doing or accomplishing what you're accomplishing, especially around you, like in your hometown or locally, maybe the next state over, like, yeah, we can always see people doing things, in Hollywood or in Paris, I don't know, these big places. But if you live somewhere small and like secluded, or if you live in the suburbs like me, I'm in Jersey, and yes, we're super close to New York, so I do have that advantage. But also, like, if you live somewhere where you're not really seeing people doing big things, you're gonna not really have the same motivation or inspiration. So it's important to make sure you're connecting with people and following people who are accomplishing big things or just doing the things that you want to do. That's how you get inspired. That's how you get that creative spark sometimes, just seeing other people doing it. Also, join communities where people are also doing the things you want to do, or they're committed, right? They're committed to their goals. For instance, our community, okay, the Real Vibe Tribe. Hello. All right. We we come in and we push each other, right? We get motivated and energized from one another. So most of the girls that come in, they have goals, whether that's getting better as a dancer, sticking to some type of physical fitness routine, right? Or just being part of a community, getting out of their shell, socializing, right? Whatever that goal is, you have to find a community that is doing those things, right? That it's going to make it easier for you. James Clear also talked about that in Atomic Habits, like just putting yourself, immersing yourself in communities where that's the norm, right? In our community, working out is the norm, dancing is the norm, stretching is the norm. And then out of nowhere, right? These just become your habits. It becomes part of your life. So it's very important to surround yourself, to watch people, to listen to people, to also engage with people, maybe get a mentor who's, on a similar path or has already accomplished the things that you want to accomplish. So that way you see that it's already possible. You see that it's already being done. You see that it is possible for you. Guys, I hope that you really enjoyed this episode, especially if you're on YouTube. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I was trying to set up this whole like setup or whatever, but I hope that it comes out good. The perfectionist in me is like wanting to stop the camera to check the lighting, but we're here. Okay, I'm super excited. We have so much good content coming up, good conversations. Guests will be on the show very, very soon. So thank you guys for rocking with me. Thank you for listening to the podcast thus far. If you haven't already, please rate and review the podcast, share with a friend, share on social media, tag me at Risfit Kitty on your Instagram stories, and then also make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Okay, hit that subscribe button. Don't be on here just trying to soak up the content and not subscribing. Okay. Thank you guys so much. And I will catch you guys in the next episode on Tuesday. See y'all. Bye.